Something hit Uranus so hard it knocked the entire planet onto its side. Not slightly tilted, not off-center, sideways. Every other planet in the solar system rotates more or less upright. Uranus does not. And that single fact, that permanent planet-wide tilt, is the starting point for everything strange about it. Uranus is the third largest planet in the solar system. It is 63 times the volume of Earth. It has 27 known moons and 13 rings. It orbits the Sun at a distance of roughly 2.9 billion kilometers, taking 84 years to complete a single orbit. And it has been studied since William Herschel first identified it in 1781, making it the first planet discovered with a telescope. We have known about Uranus for over 240 years. In that time, we have sent one spacecraft past it. Everything we know about Uranus comes from that single flyby. Most of what is inside it has never been directly measured. Most of what happens there remains, in the most literal sense, unknown. The impact that tilted Uranus almost certainly happened during the early solar system, in the period called the Late Heavy Bombardment, roughly 3 to 4 billion years ago, when the outer planets were still migrating into their current orbits, and the solar system was a far more violent place than it is today. The impactor, based on current models, was an object somewhere between 1 and 3 times the mass of Earth, not a small rock, a world. A proto-planet that no longer exists because it collided with Uranus at a speed and angle that transferred enough angular momentum to tip the planet permanently. The collision did not just tilt Uranus. It may have reshaped its interior. Some models suggest that the impacting body, or pieces of it, were absorbed into Uranus during the collision, and now form a thin shell of material inside the planet that traps internal heat. This would explain one of the most persistent and puzzling measurements in planetary science. Uranus is the coldest planet in the solar system, despite not being the furthest from the Sun. Neptune is further from the Sun, and Neptune should be colder. And yet Uranus, at an average temperature of negative 224 degrees Celsius, Saturn radiates 2.5 times more heat than it receives from the Sun. Jupiter radiates nearly twice as much. Neptune radiates 2.6 times more. Something inside Uranus is trapping its own internal heat, preventing it from escaping. The impact layer hypothesis is the leading explanation. Below the thin hydrogen and helium outer atmosphere of Uranus, there is a region that planetary scientists call the ice mantle, though ice is a misleading word. The material there is not frozen. It is a hot, dense, electrically conducting fluid, a mixture of water, ammonia, and methane, under pressures millions of times greater than Earth's surface pressure, at temperatures reaching thousands of degrees Celsius. At those pressures and temperatures, molecules behave in ways they cannot behave anywhere on Earth. Methane, under sufficient pressure, breaks down. The carbon atoms separate from the hydrogen. The carbon, under extreme compression, forms crystals. Those crystals fall through the interior toward the core, growing as they descend and accumulating into larger and larger structures. Diamonds, falling through the interior of Uranus. Not as a metaphor, but as a physical process confirmed in laboratory experiments that replicate the pressure conditions of the ice giant interior. Researchers at the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory used laser-driven shock waves to recreate the conditions inside Uranus and Neptune in 2017. The diamonds formed. The scale of the process inside Uranus is beyond any reasonable comparison to Earth. The diamonds that form may accumulate at the core boundary as a layer of solid diamond, or they may dissolve again as pressure and temperature change with depth. The interior of Uranus may contain a diamond ocean. The interior of Uranus may be ringed with diamond precipitation. The seasons on Uranus are unlike any other planet in the solar system, and they are a direct consequence of the impact that tilted it. Because Uranus rotates on its side, its poles do not experience the moderate cycle of light and darkness that Earth's poles experience. Instead, each pole of Uranus faces the Sun directly for 42 years, then faces away from the Sun completely for 42 years. During the polar summer, the Sun does not set for 4 decades. During the polar winter, the Sun does not rise for 4 decades. The equatorial regions of Uranus experience something closer to a normal day-night cycle, while the poles experience a cycle that operates on timescales measured in human generations. In 2007, Uranus reached its equinox, the moment when the Sun was directly above the equator, and both poles were receiving equal light for the first time in 42 years. The northern hemisphere was emerging from its 42-year winter. Astronomers pointed every available telescope at the planet to observe what would happen to the atmosphere as seasons shifted on a planetary scale. What they observed did not match the predictions. The pole that had spent 42 years in direct sunlight was not meaningfully warmer than the pole emerging from 42 years of darkness. Storm activity increased dramatically, with bright cloud systems appearing at unexpected latitudes. The atmospheric dynamics of Uranus in seasonal transition did not behave the way the models said they should. The observations continue. A complete explanation has not been published. Uranus has one additional quality that sets it apart from every other planet in the solar system. Its magnetic field is not centered on the planet's geographic center, and it is not aligned with the planet's rotational axis. Earth's magnetic field is tilted about 11 degrees from its rotational axis. Saturn's is nearly perfectly aligned. Uranus's magnetic field is offset from the planet's center by roughly 1/3 of the planet's radius and tilted nearly 60 degrees from the rotational axis. The result is a magnetic field that does not behave like any other magnetic field in the solar system. As Uranus rotates, its magnetic field tumbles and twists in an asymmetric pattern that creates a chaotic magnetosphere, one that may open and close to the solar wind periodically as the planet rotates, allowing solar particles direct access to the upper atmosphere impulses. No other planet arrived at Uranus on January 24, 1986. It had been traveling for 8.5 years. It had approximately 24 hours of useful close-range science collection before the geometry of the flyby carried it past the planet and out toward Neptune. In those 24 hours, Voyager 2 discovered 10 new moons, 2 new rings, measured the magnetic field for the first time, returned images of the 5 largest moons, and recorded the basic atmospheric and interior data of its flagship mission. The mission, if approved and funded, would launch in the Earth, traps its own heat, rains diamonds into an unknown interior, experiences seasons measured in decades, and generates a magnetic field that no one fully understands is, by every measure of scientific priority, one of the most important unvisited destinations in the solar system. We know enough about it to know that we know almost nothing. That is what one flyby in 1986 left us with. And that is, for now, all we have.